My whole life has been a series of coincidences. I was at the Stonewall Riots. You know?
Really?
Oh yes, I did all that kind of stuff. How did that happen to me? It was all accidental. I just happened to be there at all times, you know? Well, as I've already explained to you, I was an accidental photographer, for that matter. The Stonewall Riots, the famous one. 1 week before, I was in a gay bar on 17th Street called The Sewer with Judy Garland, and they raided it.
This was a time when the police were really cracking down on gay bars.
Well, Mayor John Lindsay was wanting to get re-elected, but he decided he would just raid every gay bar. And I was in The Sewer with Judy Garland, and the police came in, and they just went, "Oh my God.
It's Judy Garland."
It's Judy Garland. What do we do now? You know, it was so weird.
And for those that don't know, what happened during the Stonewall Riot?
I'll tell you, because I was there. Because it's been so turned into something way more than it was. I was just sitting on the street, waiting to get picked up by some guy, any guy, and suddenly the drag queens with all their wigs and their eyelashes and everything were clumping down the street saying, "They're raiding the Stonewall, they're raiding the Stonewall." So of course I wanted to go, but I wasn't in the Stonewall that particular night, so I went down there. And what they did in those days, the only really illegal thing they could get you for was being in drag, because that was being in masquerade. Essentially, the law was if you were in disguise, you could go rob a bank and no one would know who you were. Honey, if any of those queens robbed a bank.
But they might really remember you.
Or they'd hear the eyelashes clacking on the way back.
The week before in the Sewer, they did the same thing. They lined the queens up behind the bar, and they let the rest of us go, including Judy. We were going out. They were saying, "Okay, what's your name? What's your name?" And I said, "Lana Turner," and they wrote it down. And so then the Stonewall one, it was the same thing. They'd land all the drag queens up behind the bar, take them to jail for like 3 hours, and then let them go again. The law they had broken was they, were in disguise. And that particular time, whether they were stoned or crazy or enough was enough, they just started, they were behind the bar. What's behind the bar besides you? All the bottles. So they just started grabbing the bottles and throwing them. And that was the essence of the Stonewall Riots. It was drag queens throwing bottles at cops. It lasted for 3 days.
Wow.
And
that's a lot of bottles.
No, but what happened is then the gay rights people latched onto it, and they've now turned it into this big thing, like it was this big, we claimed our rights thing. It was drag queens throwing bottles at cops. That's that was the Stonewall Riots. I was there. I know. So then.
It sounds like a John Waters film, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Who was the first act that you managed then? And how did that come about?
The first act I managed was, I'm sure you've never heard of him, but his name was David Bowie. And
that was your first
That was the first time I actually managed an act, yes. And he didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what I was doing.
Ziggy played guitar, jamming good with Weird and Gilly and the Spiders from Mars. He played it left hand, but made it too far. Became the special man, then we were Ziggy's band. Ziggy really sang, screwed up eyes and screwed down hairdo.